tasked him is still functioning, according to General Masemola. So he has, in fact, disobeyed you.
I can't get your question clearly.
General Masemola says that, A, he thinks that you can't give him this directive.
Oh, yes.
But he regards you as his boss, which I find horrific. And he will give effect to your instructions, but he has not done so. The task team has not been closed down. So what are you going to do about that?
Well, that took me aback. I was taken aback when National Commissioner spoke like that, because it means that it would have meant that, or it meant that on one hand he agreed, on the other he didn't agree. When he sent the letter from his office, or when his office sent the letter on the 3rd, when he made the presentation, when he wrote to me on the 22nd, when he made the presentation or okayed the presentation on the 5th and the 6th, what I understood him to be doing was that we were in agreement that we have to wrap. I had no other hidden side or feeling that, in fact, he was not, were not together on the matter. He had not done that before.
The question, Minister, was what are you going to do about it? This other long story is interesting, but it's inappropriate. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm on leave at the moment.
The country is faced with what they regard as a national crisis. We're sitting here day in and day out, and you're on leave. The minister's on leave, and that's more important.
I didn't impose leave on myself. I am on leave. That is the fact of the matter.
Are you on special leave?
Yes, I'm on special leave. Thank you for that.
I see. So the hopes that we have of getting somewhere with this whole debacle, it's clear that we're not going to get anywhere with it.
That?
We're not going to get anywhere. The police are not going to be fixed. You're on leave. Masemola is on leave. Sabia is on suspension. Everyone's on leave or on holiday or suspended. And nothing's going to happen. And what must we do with all of this? The top structure of South African police are either on leave or in bed.
If I had my way, I wouldn't be on leave. I wouldn't even be here doing what I'm doing. I would be proceeding with the work that we're expected to do in subs so that people feel safer. So once these matters are aside and the President decides on post these commissions, then we are awkward at the moment, and things are not the way they should be, like being on leave and so on. But as I say, my wish is that I was carrying on with the work, implementing the structure and fighting crime together with the police. If we're going to be
waiting for the President, Minister, then we all know that we're going to be waiting a very long time. But you talk about people feeling safe. I just want to tell you that this afternoon, there was a mass shooting in Westbury in Johannesburg. 2 people are dead, and many children were injured, some of them critically. Nobody feels safe. And how does that make you feel?
It's a sad matter to get those news. And in police in South Africa, together with ministry, I know that you grapple with issues on your conscience that had you done this, possibly this would not have happened. And it haunts you all the time. And therefore, I feel sorry and sad for what you are putting across. But the main thing is the sooner we get over this, the better. And there are more other ugly incidents that have happened as well. And all of them, those that are said, we feel they are a letdown to the country.
Let me tell you what I think the problem is with the police, Minister, and then you can comment on it. When General Masemola was here, he is the only general in the South African Police Service. Everybody else is a major general, lieutenant general. He's the only general in the South African Police Service. He's the head of the South African Police Service. He walked out of the room we were sitting in at the Good Hope Chamber to go and chat to some of the police who were sitting around there. I don't know what they were doing. There seemed to be an inordinate amount of police sitting around not knowing what they're doing while everyone is here. He walked over to a group of policemen. I'm not sure what their ranks were, but they certainly weren't anything close to his. One was draped across a chair. One was sitting on the table. One was leaning against the wall. And when the only general in the South African police approached them, not one of them even stood up straight, let alone came to attention. Now, what do you make of that lack of discipline, lack of authority? There was no reaction from General Masemola. He accepted their disrespect without even batting an eyelid.
Well, I listened to you when you were speaking to him about who is the boss and all of that. But what I felt was that there's no inclusion of boss in the Constitution and all of that in the legislation, in the legislative framework. But this is to say, General Masemola is the only general, as you say. I agree with that. And he has authority. And that authority is there to be exercised, well, with the assistance of others, including ministry and so on. I believe that there's a lot to do to improve performance, quite a lot. And it can be done. Because if it is not done, if this is the climax, if this is the best and this is the only thing, then it would mean that we do have a problem, or South Africa does have a problem. So there's room, from where I sit, to do quite a lot of improvements. And we have pointed some of those out to General Masemola.
You mentioned, it may have been yesterday, all these days morph into one, it feels like a lifetime, about a particular clip on the tape that you referred to that demonstrated that you were in fact threatened. Now, you haven't been able to produce that. Why not?
No, I have explained. You may take, you may not take the explanation. General Mchunu has had a conversation with Chief of Staff on the 2nd of January. And one of the things they spoke about was to say that if minister is clean while he was premier and so on, so he can go on with the directives.
I know what he said. I want to know why you can't identify where it is on the tape so that we can hear it.
No, at that time, he had not started recording. He only started when they continued with the conversation in other days, like on the 3rd, on the 4th, and on the 5th, but not on the 2nd.
Thank you, Chair. I'm done.
There is something that you must clarify, Honorable Minister, because you now say that at the time the recording happened, the part that the Honorable Member Breitenbach is asking you about was not recorded. And on Friday, you made us to play that record and say on the record there is a part that you want us to hear. Which statement do we take? Do we go back to our statement that the extract that you wanted us to hear is not there? Can we just bury it like that to say the extract that you wanted us to hear is not there, so that we stop making reference to this evidence which has not appeared before us? Can we just bury it that way?
Yeah, it is not there.
Thank you so much. Honorable Nomvalo.
No, just a follow-up question, Chair, on that question that we have just asked. When did the minister learn that it's not there? when did he learn that the part that we advised him to bring today is not there? Did you learn after you made a promise to the committee that you will bring it? And if you learned after, does that mean you were misled? You were made to understand that it is there.
I only got to know that it is not there after. Now, whether you were misled
Yeah.
or not,
No, Minister, let's leave it there. The extract in question, if there was an intention that it must form part of the documents presented or the materials presented before the committee, unfortunately, it cannot be because it is not available. And in this way, I think, like it's your statement that let's bury the matter. That evidence is not before the committee. Is that adequate?
Chair, I would say now it is adequate and it will come. Somebody will ask a question and I'll need to explain, as I did last time, that that evidence is not there except in reference.
Thank you.
That's
so
all.
much. Yeah. I see Honorable Malema, Honorable Samgweni, do you still want to speak? Let me take Honorable Malema and then you will be the last Honorable Samgweni.
No, Chair. We have to close it properly if you are saying we're going to close this part. The minister either must accept that he was misleading the House or he honestly thought that thing was there. That's why he committed that in the next, I'm the one who said, in the next meeting, just come with that part. And he said, no problem, we'll come with it. But how do you say you will come with a part you never had? Because he was making us to play something he never had. So had we not insisted on that part being brought, this House would have been misled. Either he was doing it deliberately, and if he was not doing it deliberately, he has to apologize to the people of South Africa, who said in anticipation that a minister who has taken an oath, and even not just an oath, also took an oath in this House to tell nothing else but the truth. If he made a mistake, he must say to the people of South Africa, I apologize, I made an error of judgment, it's not there, this issue is not there. Unless he was deliberately misleading us. But if you have made an honest mistake, you have to apologize. And I insist that he has to apologize if he made an honest mistake. People have left what they were doing, waiting to come and hear a part where a general is threatening a minister. That's not a serious, it's not a simple allegation to be made and just leave it like that. That allegation was made. Now there is an acceptance. There is no evidence to that effect. I was actually misled, and I therefore apologize. That is what we insist on, Honorable Chair, for this matter to be closed.
Thank you, Honorable Sangweni.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I think mine was going to be to seek clarity from the Minister on what is not there. So is it the recording that the Minister says is not there, or is it the threat that the Minister says is not there? And Chair, I'm asking this because I don't want us to leave here with an impression that the Minister has withdrawn his testimony that General Mkhwanazi threatened him, if that is not what the Minister is doing. So if we can just separate the two things. And then secondly, I also want us to be consistent, Chair. There's a lot of things that people came here and they have said, and we did not demand evidence of it in recordings or any other format. Now, the unfortunate part is that the Minister volunteered a recording, which is now the issue. We've been listening to people talking about Tupac songs and sending this and sending that, and we never demanded recordings of those issues. So I want us to be fair to the Minister. Now, if we can get clarity that is the Minister withdrawing his testimony that he was threatened by General Mkhwanazi, which is different from the recording is not there. And that's a different matter that I think we can close. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Shongwe.
No, Chair. Partially, I disagree, Chair. I think, Chair, borrowing from the words of Ubabu General Usbeya, ukuthi umkhwanazi ukhuluma into angayazi, is the chance ukuthi uminister ukhuluma into angayazi makathi kukhona i-voice note. And when you say kukhona i-voice note, ukhuluma ngento elalelile wayizwa ukuthi ngiyizwile i-voice note. So I don't think it will be acceptable kimi for minister to say I withdraw. I wasn't sure ukuthi ikhona or ayikho. He must speak into iqiniso la ukuthi ubeyizwile yini or ukhuluma into engekho ayicabangile. And number 2, what does it say ngecredibility yakababa uNkabinde? What if uNkabinde umtafulile umshayashayile lapho, Chair? So I think asingayenzi belula, Chair, and sisebenze ngo-withdraw, I withdraw that. No. Akavuma ukuthi ngiqamba amanga la. Chair, what's the right word for amanga? Parliamentary word? For
what?
lying. Misleading.
Inaccurate.
The accurate word for parliamentary word?
Inaccurate.
Or I engage the sentence. But again, Chair, just that one. Ukuthi uMinister must be on record saying bengikhuluma into engekho. Because if uthi khona record, uyalazi ulizwile, Chair. Thank you.
Okay.
On a point of
Honorable
order,
Malu.
Chair. We're not asking you questions. We're sitting on the topic you are talking about. And the topic is the recording. It's not whether the minister is withdrawing the threat or not. So once you are on this point of recording and then you say, you minister must, you're introducing a new subject. We are saying minister committed to bring a recording. Minister didn't commit to bring whether he's being threatened or not. He promised to bring a recording and the recording is not there. That's what that's what Honorable Dlinis was asking about, and that's what we're following up on the recording.
No, let me remind you, honorable members, this is what happened on Friday. When the recording was played, the Honorable Minister placed a statement that there is a part that is missing in the recording. And so he would have wanted us to hear that part. And so the minister made a commitment that the part will be made available. And when we resumed this morning, we gave a report that we have made a follow-up through our secretariat with the minister and his team. And the extract that he himself would have wanted us to hear is not there on that recording. And during the proceedings, the minister have admitted that that part is not there. And that is why my view is that we must desist from asking him questions on that evidence because we will not get it. It is not there. He has confirmed before this committee. And the part that Honorable Member Malema is saying is that, Honorable Minister, because you made a commitment, you might have made an honest mistake that you committed to bring that extract, hoping that you will have it readily available. And it's not something that you can be crucified for. If that thing is not available, you just say, look, I was under impression that it is available, and it is not available, and for that I want to apologize. Then we bury the matter. You don't appear before this committee as a suspect. You appear before this committee as a citizen who will help us to deal with whatever difficulties we are facing in the South African police services. And I think that is how we should proceed. If that extract is not available and you honestly believe that it will be there, it is not there. Where I come from, Baro Posho, it's a Mayalamakatish, you know, when you operate a machine, you may end up making a mistake because the machine is not a human being. Once you press on, the machine will run. It will not say to you, but you want me to make a mistake.
Point of order, Chair. Aye, kahle, Chair, kahle, Chair. Please, Chair, siyacela. Mo tswang teng. Ba o botsa straight hore ntho e bolelang ha eyo. Minister o itse ikhona I voice note. There's a part I want you to hear which I don't get now. If it was a song, you would say this song iqala la khona la imnandi khona. Eish angiyitholi that part. He said it that way, sir. He didn't say, I'm not sure whether it was a voice note or they told me. Said in this voice note, there's a part I want you to hear. So, and Chair, again, under oath, he said that, under oath. It's not a soft thing that you can just downplay as if, no, here, you're not coming as a victim or suspect or what. Chair, whatever he says here is under oath. Chair, ama South Africans alalela eksila manunu abono ubaba ubheka icele ama South Africans, so let's not downplay it, Chair. Uthe ubaba ikhona sicela leyo voice note or asitshela ukuthi kanqamba manga sidlule, simple as that.
Honorable Skosana.
Ngikuthokoze mgcini sihlalo, ngibawa ukuthi nami ngifake lami lokuthi ungqongqotshe uye watsho ukuthi kunento nasiya ngaphakathi inunu le ebefanele silalele mara into le ngaphela lula njengoba umlingani ayithomile ngapha Honorable Malema he ask a simple question ukuthi indaba le ayikwazi ukuthi ingafelela angakavuma ukuthi bekaleya mhlambe bekasimislidile axolise ngokomthetho ngoba is under oath as I said earlier ukuthi akhumbule ukuthi u-under oath mara singaphumi la singanagama elazekelayo ukuthi uyasararanisa nje asazi ukuthi sikuphi akafuna ukuvuma mara ke ukuxolisa ngicabanga ukuthi kungaba into ekarako ingasikara into leyo ukuthi uthi Mathela Bambalala ngiyabawa ukuthi man ngenza iphoso kukuleya indaba yokuthi into le ikhona yokuthi ngithuselwe ngoba indaba yokuthuselwa silalele sonke la ayikho.
Yeah, no, honorable member.
Ngiyathokoza.
We may be saying one thing in many ways. It's for the minister. You know, the request that has been made by the honorable member is for the minister to say if he made an honest mistake or he has not made a mistake. It's not a matter for us to debate. If he made a mistake, he will say it here to say, look, that was a mistake. I apologize. Or it was not a mistake. It's just that I can't find the evidence, but I have it, and I won't apologize for that. So let's give him a chance so that we deal with the matter once and for all. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. I believe I made an honest mistake. I was under the impression that that part that I spoke about was actually there, and it was part of what was sent here. Then I make follow-up after making an undertaking, and it becomes clear that no, recording had not started when this part was discussed among them. And therefore, I made that mistake and I apologize.
Thank you so much. That is acceptable, Minister, and there is nothing that will take any quality away from you. Thank you so much.
You haven't addressed my question.
Oh, yes.
The question that
And
I had
the
put,
second question that
Yes.
you
I understand the
raised,
mistake
honorable
about the
member.
recording. Chair.
Yeah, let
right?
me allow you to restate it.
Thank you. I understand the mistake about the recording, which I think the apology from the minister is accepted. But I just want to confirm whether the minister is therefore withdrawing the fact that there were threats that were made to him.
On a point of order, Chair. On a
That's
point
my
of order.
question. Why would there be a point
No,
of order?
on a
my
point of
question?
order.
No, it's fine.
Chair,
Let's take the point
Chair,
of order.
we are taking rotation here. The ANC will have its own chance. All of us, we spoke on a point that was raised by honorable member. As a follow-up, or we're seeking clarity on that point, which was raised during the DA's 10. It's still the DA's 10. So when you now leave the DA's question and come up with something else, you are allocating ANC an extra time on this question. They are still going to have chance to ask questions.
No, I'm going back to the DA.
No, Chair, but Honorable Malema is out of order. He's been seeking clarity.
no.
I'm seeking clarity.
Honorable
On
Sango,
the same matter.
Honorable Sangon, let's do it this way. You have asked a question, isn't it? And we must give the minister a chance to respond to the question. That point of order, honorable member, is not sustained. Minister, did you hear the question? The two questions are based on the recording.
Very clear.
Yeah, the first question you answered, you apologize, that is accepted. And then the second question is whether you withdraw the statement that there were threats.
No, what I'm withdrawing is that I have not been able to provide the recording, but the threat,
No.
the threat remains
Okay.
as told to me by chief of staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Klopper, let me start by apologizing to you for the delays. And I just hope that it has not affected your chain of thought. Can you take a deep breath, and I see that you are ready to.
Thank you, Chairperson. No, I'm not affected at all. Honourable Minister. Minister, my time is also quite short, so I will ask questions if you can answer as short as possible without hampering yourself. Minister, in December, specifically the 31st, I want to know, did you have any contact, direct or indirect, via staff or via any other person, via any platform, call or messages with Brown Mokhotsi? That's the 31st of December, 2024.
On the 31st of December. Now, on the 31st of December, to the best of my recollection, I didn't speak to Brown Mokhotsi on that day, on anything. It may be, I forget, but especially me phoning him, I don't remember at all.
Thank you. The evidence that was put in this committee this morning, there were photos flighted on the screen of messages. And in those messages, between the messages, they showed 2 calls. And if I recall properly, it was between 10 and 11 on the 31st. Did you not see that?
That's what I was asking to see, and I didn't see messages on the 31st.
Not messages, it was 2 calls.
Yes, those 2 calls.
All right, it showed an incoming call, if I saw it correctly.
Coming to
Chairperson
me.
and- yes, so you're saying you don't recall these calls and you didn't have any conversations with Brown Mokhotsi on that day?
Not that I recall, but if there's a record like that, I'll need to check and satisfy myself that it is there. But I don't recall calling him on anything on the 31st, or him calling me on anything.
All right, Chairperson, what I noticed this morning that there was calls made. As I said, there were 2 calls that I could recall, but you are saying you don't recall them, so obviously you won't recall any conversation that you had with him, and you have said you have no, to your recollection, any calls with Brown Mokhotsi. I would just like to find out, Minister, then, in your office, who had the authority to share any non-public, to share information of ministerial decisions or diaries with Mr. Brown Mokhotsi? If you can give their name, surname, title, Who had that permission?
Could I get the question?
I asked, is anybody in your office authorized to share any ministerial decisions or your diary with Mr. Brown? If they are, they're just their names and their details, please.
Not that I know. I don't know anybody who shares either ministerial or departmental information with Brian Mchunu.
How do you believe then Brian Mchunu was able to message Vusi Matlala about the dockets directed to Sibia the very next day? And again, following the evidence that was laid in this commission today, there was a call between you and Mr. Brown on the 31st. How did he get the information then?
Which one?
Of the disbandment and the messages that went to Sibia or to Matlala, saying that the dockets are on their way to Sibia.
It would be Brown Mchunu himself who would be able to tell it all, to say how did he get to know, and I'm quite worried about that. How?
Having the South African citizens must believe that someone was able to predict the time and the content of your directive just by coincidence, as what you say at the moment.
What's your question now?
Are you putting it to the House at this point, as far as your knowledge is pertained, that someone in the private sector was able to predict the timing and content of your directive by coincidence?
If I hear you well, my directive went to Chief of Staff and to Special Advisor and back, and that is how. I don't believe that there was anyone else who was given this by any one of the three of us until it leaked to. But I did say that when I sat down with the Chief of Staff, he did speak about him sending the letter to the PAs of their principals in the management. So I wouldn't know what then actually happened, but what I know is that at the time of writing, correcting, confirmation, I'm pretty sure that there was no one involved at that stage.
Thank you, Minister.
Until after the letter went out.
Thank you, Minister. So either your office, that of the NC, or the PAs leaked this ministerial decision. Maybe South Africa now has a Cleveran comrade. Which reality should this committee accept, Minister?
I'm trying to get your question.
Chairperson, I said either the office of the Minister or the office of the NC or that of the PAs leaked a ministerial decision. Are South Africans expected to accept that they have a clairvoyant comrade? And I'm asking, which reality should this committee accept then, Minister?
No, I would count down or discount the ANC office because it has nothing to do with the letter. And
the NC, not the ANC. The NC, the National Commissioner.
Oh,
sorry,
I
Minister,
see.
not ANC.
Oh,
the
I
NC.
See. Yes, somewhere there was an error or there was a leak somewhere. It would be interesting to find out exactly where.
It would be very interesting. Minister, before anyone closes a task team of this nature, I'm sure that, especially of this magnitude, as it was mandated by the President, I'm sure one applies one's mind very thoroughly. You consider work studies, mandates, financials, spread of dockets and provinces, and whether the structures as named is performing its intended function, which I'm sure you did extensively. Am I correct?
Yes.
Minister, you referred to the PFMA saying that it had no budget of its own and no valid funding authority post 2022. It is one of the reasons that prompted you to disband it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
It went further on the 17th of
It's
October.
correct that you,
Oh, sorry.
you wouldn't, in my view, go on like that. Keep a structure with all its expenses
Correct.
outside the structure and even personnel, not dedicated personnel. You have to take people from where they are ordinarily deployed and you put them here, and then the actual expenses thereof for the kind of work that they were doing, especially after 2023. So I felt that when you observe these things, you could disband or bring the operations elsewhere, because the issue was not to say any other more thing than to say transfer all of this. Time has come, transfer to murder and robbery. The structure is there and everything. And so on.
You went on further, Minister, on the 17th of